If you sell a high-ticket offer, you should try DM ads. And in this video, I'm going to show you why and how. If we haven't met before, hi, I'm Evelyn. I've spent over 25 million in the online education space. I've worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, and I run ads for the Skool platform. This training is part of my big course, the 7-hour Meta Ads for Personal Branding course. You can now get free access to it inside of the 7-day free trial of Grow with Evelyn. I hope to see you there. And now let's jump right into the video. This is what it looks like. You on Instagram have a messaging inbox, and we can run meta ads that send people directly to our inbox to DM us a keyword and start a conversation with us about an offer that we made to them on the ad. Then we will have that inbound sales conversation, and either we close them right then and there on our offer, or we guide them to book a sales call from where we will then close them. So this is the whole funnel. It's the ad with your offer that filters the right type of people, gets them into your inbox. From there, you do have this inbound sales conversation that either closes right away or it leads to booking a call. When it leads to booking a call, a certain amount of people will book, certain amount of people that have booked will show up to the call, certain amount of people who showed up will pay you. So this is what the funnel looks like. Now for the ads, we have a couple of options here on the campaign objectives. Specifically, we can run an engagement campaign or a lead campaign that then guides these people into our inbox. Before we jump into the specific setup, I need to explain what the biggest pitfall with this funnel is. So as you can see, it is very powerful. It's super simple. You're like, yo, I have this offer. Is this you? If this is you, then send me a message. And then they send you a message and you're like, oh, thank you for the interest in my offer. Where are you in the journey? Right? So it's very, very simple because it's super straightforward, and we can directly optimize for people to send us the message. But this is also where the crux is. So with meta ads, typically the golden rule is that you want to optimize for the event that you ultimately want to happen. And the event that you ultimately want to have happen is not that they send you a message. It is that they purchase. But because with the platform native setup, we cannot optimize for that. The only thing we can optimize is for the conversation to begin, and that impacts lead quality. So the biggest struggle with this funnel is the volatility in the lead quality, because what happens is that you choose your campaign objective. Based on a campaign objective, you already get a different quality. Now you have your messaging. Based on the messaging, you get a different quality, right? So those are two things that you need to split right out the beginning. And then you would assume that if you pick the right campaign objective for your business and you have the right messaging and you start to get the right type of leads and you convert them, that would be the end of the story. But what happens over time with these campaigns is that they start to decline in performance, because ultimately all they optimize for is a cheaper conversation, a cheaper conversation, a cheaper conversation. And your cheapest conversation might not be what makes your funnel more profitable, because it might only mean that your qualified cost per conversation goes up. You talk with less qualified people, you have more bad leads clogging up your funnel, and ultimately you can't reach the right type of people at all anymore, even with the right messaging on the ad, because you do have this optimization event working against you. It's always trying to optimize, always trying to get you lower, better cost. It's not necessarily optimizing for the quality that you need. So these funnels can be very, very volatile. And the way to manage them over time is that when you start to see lead quality going down, you basically need to reset the campaign and hope that you are getting into a better audience segment again. So it means resetting the campaigns many, many times. Now, next problem with that is that while you can play that game for a while, ultimately you have the data account dominant. And so inevitably, no matter how many times you reset the campaign, how much you optimize the message, as long as you're working with these campaign objectives and optimization events alone, your lead quality will deteriorate over time because of the optimization event. And also as you scale, so you have kind of double factors weighing against you. So ultimately, very, very long term, to decrease volatility, if you want to run this funnel at the highest scale, you will have to take things off platform. I'm going to show you what this looks like. But before that, we're talking about how do you set it up to get the first conversations, the first customers, right? How do you set it up for the beginnings when you can still optimize and you can get a lot out of it? So let's look at what that looks like. You do have two campaign objectives that I would recommend you test against each other. Engagement, where you can optimize for the conversations, as well as leads. Now, typically the quality of a lead will be higher than the quality of an engager, but you do have to look at your business holistically, and you have to say, what is is my ultimate return on ad spend and customer acquisition cost to customer lifetime value ratio. Also, of course, factoring in your payback period so you don't get into any cash flow constraints. So let me give you a more tangible example. There are B2C brands, for example, personal brands selling weight loss, have a big total addressable market. It's an offer that's relatively easy to understand. Often we will get with these type of offers overall lower customer acquisition cost, better customer acquisition cost to customer lifetime value ratio when we're just going for volume. This is also true if you have a good process to work through those leads. So you're very efficient working through those leads. You really have your DM sales figured out. You have a really, really strong process there, and you have a large total addressable market. This can be net the better choice for you, even if the lead quality is lower. Then on the other hand, sometimes there's companies that, get the lower cost per conversation, but ultimately if they get the qualified leads, their systems are smoother, they don't have to go through too many conversations, and ultimately their whole customer acquisition cost to customer lifetime value ratio is better, even if the conversation was much more expensive for them. So here in general, you want to go after quality, but what it means for your business and which campaign objective ultimately is better for you will be determined over time, because you need to look at all of those numbers. So while this funnel, you see it now, is easy to set up in the front, in the back end, you want to at least measure these two campaign objectives against each other for a longer period of time, so you first understand what is the one that you should actually go for. So for that, I would recommend that you use 2 different keywords for each of them so you can track this. And then if you have a longer funnel, a call funnel, this is even more true. You have to have that tracking all the way through, so you know all the way from the first conversations that are coming in from your cost per conversation all the way till the person paid and stayed, what is the better funnel for you from your lead quality. And like I said, I do recommend testing it against each other. And then the same goes with the messaging in the funnel for the ads as well. It could be that one messaging gets you a lot more conversations, but from those conversations we have a lot less sales, we have a lot less calls. So those are the 2 primarily pillars that you need to look out for and optimize when you're running these on Meta. And then you also have to track the lead quality over time, because you can have a great campaign, cost looks good, everything looks good on the campaign, but you have fewer and fewer qualified leads actually coming in, then although the campaign looks good on paper, you need to turn it off and you need to reset it to eventually get back into a better bucket of the audience. All right, so now how do you set up the campaigns initially? We're starting with the engagement campaign. Continue. We're going to go with the manual setup, and then we are just going to name our campaign Then we are going to set our budget. So here I'm going to start with 25 per day. Now, as our conversion location, you see we can get message destination, get people to engage with your brand on Messenger, WhatsApp, or Instagram. And then we also have Instagram or Facebook, get people to engage with your Instagram profile, Facebook page, or both. We want to get the message destination, and we want to do manual destination, and I want them to only engage on Instagram. This is my example, but here you can see you can basically go and select the different locations here. So I'm going with Instagram, and then for the targeting, I only put the location of where my primary customer base is. So in my case, it's the United States. And then under the placements, what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is only happening on Instagram. Here you can also see if you're getting better results. For example, if you're only running on stories or if you're only running in the feed. Now Meta says allow a limited spending to excluded placements. We'll aim to spend around 5% of your budget. I have tested this in the past and I decided to check it off in the future, but it's worth retesting and seeing if it gets you better results. Now under the ad, we want to start with a single image. Of course, you can also create a video. The key of the ad is that you really very, very clearly filter. And you can do this with a video or with an image. I like to first test different messaging angles on the image. And then the one that I see works the best is the one that I will also use for a video. So here's an example of what the ad can look like. For example, this is for Done For You advertisement service. I'm looking for free creators doing 50K plus per month who want to scale with ads. I run for that. And then comment, done for you, for more info. So here, this is what I also mean with the keywords. We want to differentiate if the engagement or the leads campaign objective is better for us. So we do want to have two different campaign objectives. Here, see, I'm looking for a certain amount of our target audience creators who are doing 50,000 plus per month, right? So that's my minimum threshold here. You have to see they need to qualify, right? So this ad is basically, it's qualifying them. Are you a creator? Are you doing 50K months? Do you want to scale with ads? And do you want me to run the ads for you, right? So if all of these criteria are true, you should DM me a work. So your ad really needs to be a filter. And of course, I position this filter from different perspectives, right? But this I'm looking for is one of the most effective ones when it comes to filtering, right? Or if you are XYZ and you want SS, this is for you. So these will be conditional, right? They need to meet certain criteria so that they should DM you. This will help you with the lead quality in the beginning. Now, your ad copy is also somewhat important. So here you see how I'm opening this is I'm saying unhappy with your agency or finally ready to take your personal brand to the next level. This is also gearing towards somebody who has already worked with an agency or they're thinking about working with an agency. And then you see get help from someone who has spent over 25 million on ads in online education, worked with some of the biggest names in the industry and runs ads for the school platform itself. I'm looking for free creators who are currently doing over 50K per month, who want to scale with ads. I manage for them while they stay focused on their brand, content, and clients. And then I have a bit more about me, and then I have DM me, and now I need to have the right keyword, the same as on the image, done for you, and that's chat. Here for the headline, I like to use application, done for you, ad for personal brands. So again, I will filter the harsher I can be repelling the people that are not a good fit, the better the initial quality will be. Okay, I don't use any improvement strategies because I don't want to make it dilute the messaging. The same goes also for creative enhancement. I just want to go with this ad. Like I said, I'm not necessarily looking for the cheapest cost here initially. I'm looking for the right quality. Done. And now we can go ahead here. Our call to action is send a message on Instagram, but we want to do one more important step. And that step is for our conversation, we want to set up an automated chat. So this is what this looks like. You can set up an automated chat. Let me just, where you put a welcome message. So for example, hi, I'd love to know how I can help you. Just answer the question below and I'll follow up with you. This is qualifying them. Now you see, are you a creator making more than 50K per month in sales who wants a done for you ad service? Yes, they go to completion. No, they go to disqualification. Completion message is, thank you for answering my question. I'll reach out soon to set up a call so we can get to know each other and see if we're a good fit. That's if they say yes. Disqualification is, thank you for your interest. It does not look like we're a good fit right now. If you want to learn ads, I share a lot of free trainings on my YouTube channel. And then you want to link your privacy policy as well. Okay, so this is what we want to set up initially when they come in. And then if you wanted to, you can also select your pixel here if you have it already set up. And now we have the ad here with the images. It's selected here, related media. I want to delete all of this because I only want my main message here to show. This is what you see, the destination. This is where they land. And this is the ad itself. And now you see it on the different placements. I can publish it. And this is the setup in the engagement campaign. Now we can do the same for the leads. Continue. Done for you leads, because we want to test them against each other. On the leads, I'll often put a little bit of a higher budget. The destination is single. And we need to have our page selected. Same with the countries. Same with the locations. Here you see it already just selected Instagram. And now we can set up our ad again. Here we want to have a different call to action. So I will just put ads here so I can assess the lead quality from one versus the other. Set up creative. I'm adding the headline. I'm skipping the image generation and the enhancements. And now I want to make sure I am using the right template. And now we can publish it.